I will say that, I won't lie. Sometimes I think living in Nigeria when I was in the USD would have been better for me than moving here because my expenses just doubled. What was happening in Nigeria remained. With black tax, you can get so overwhelmed by it and you start to resent the people you are helping, especially if you don't do things for yourself.
Exactly.
And I also think it's a women too, we need to start like negotiating.
Yeah,
men are very confident.
Yeah,
like,
that.
Oh my God, they will ask for like double of the amount. And I'm like, but women are always like, when I hire women, they're always quick to take the first offer.
Yeah.
It's like, so it's a thing to like, women need to start like being open to, you know, negotiating, whether it's 10%, even if you can 50%, like just be more audacious.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Finance Chat with Maryam. Today we have a very interesting guest. Her name is Catherine, but do you want me to say your nickname as well?
Feel free.
Okay, but she's most widely known as Kit Kat. And Kit Kat, how are you today?
I'm good. It's a sunny day, so I get to wear short sleeves, so I'm happy.
How was your week?
Yeah, it was good. I was on leave, so I just resumed on Thursday. So it was a very short week for me. So
Must be nice. Did you do anything during your leave?
Yeah, traveled to Barcelona.
How was that? I've never been. How was that?
It was good, but the timing was wrong because it rained half of the time there. And their rain is not like our rain here. It's like Nigerian type of rain. So yeah, it was a bit messy, but we made the best of it.
Yeah, but you still had fun. Did you travel alone, friends?
No, I went with my friends,
That
group.
sounds...
Yeah.
Oh, it was a group trip.
Yeah, girls trip, like 6 of us. Yeah.
I love girls trip. I've only had, usually with one, like every time I've traveled like with other girls, it's always like one person.
Oh yeah.
Like 2 people or something like that. So I do enjoy that. And what do you do?
So I'm a recruiter. I've been a recruiter for a while. I'd say like about 5+ years, maybe 6. Yeah, let's say 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah.
And why did you choose recruiting, if I may ask?
So I have a background in HR, okay? And then I started my career, I did a bit of like HR consulting where I was working in one of the big 4s. But then I pivoted for a bit. Whilst I was in HR, I sort of got this, what's the word? Curiosity for tech.
Oh, okay.
So for a while, I sort of put my HR in a bit of a back burner and like for about 3 years, I was trying to like, you know, do a lot more hands-on coding where I was focusing more like front end. I was into JavaScript, React, and also, but that didn't last because I just realized, this is not for me. But then I had gained some skills that I thought would be useful for me in recruiting.
Yeah.
And I started chasing after like tech companies to be a recruiter in tech companies because I felt like I had a very niche set of skills. So and that's how I got here.
So you work for a tech company now?
They call themselves a tech company, but some people say they're a travel company. Travel tech. I just call them tech. Let's say they're tech.
And when you're working as a front-end developer, like how did you, because you said you pivoted, like how does that happen? Like, because I mean, if you had a background in HR, how did you go from having a background in HR to doing tech? Like it's such...
Yeah, so the thing with tech is you don't need to go to school. That's the good thing about it. Like you can attempt to learn everything online if you are determined enough. It's hard.
Yeah.
You do need guidance. I reached out to a lot of like people to help me with like study materials, to help create like a study plan for me and to give me like little gigs here and there where I can just practice. So it took a lot. The good thing is in the middle of it was lockdown. So I was at home. So instead of going to the office, I could sort of juggle the both of them. I was barely sleeping because it was mostly in the night that I was doing this because I combined it with my regular work. So it took a while for me to grasp the skills, but eventually I got to a point where I could say I won't say I'm mid-level, probably like junior enough to handle certain tasks on my own without needing a lot of guidance. But if you ask me where those skills are right now,
they're somewhere.
I can still fetch them once in a while. So, for example, if I'm doing interviews and like I'm interviewing a candidate and they try to
tell you some things,
I'm just looking like, and I start asking them more intimate question that they're like, okay, maybe this person knows what they're saying, and so.
And then they calm down with their lies and everything.
So
That
very useful.
That makes a lot of sense. And you said your career in HR. Like, did you know when you were in school? I'm guessing you studied for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was in school, the reason why I picked my course was, I won't lie, I don't like maths. I'm sorry, but I wanted anything that I can just run away from mathematics. And HR it seemed like an easy course.
Yeah.
Oh, but it wasn't easy because there were maths like when it comes to like compensation and all these things. Yeah. So there were like math involved.
Yeah.
But that's why I picked HR because I was like, yeah, let me just look for something more. And I'm a very like people person. I know how to talk to people well. I know how to talk to people. So it felt like a good place to start from for my bachelor's, and then I decide if this is where I want to go to in future. Yeah.
Yeah. And when did you move to Netherlands?
July 2022. So
wow, you remember vividly.
Oh yeah. Oh. Who's going to forget? I don't think I ever forget. But I moved there. Okay, no, I started my job July, but I moved 25th of June, 2020. I don't forget.
How was the move? Was there like a cultural shock? Did you have any?
So I moved in the peak of summer, so which was good because like in terms of cold and everything, I didn't experience it because I was like still wearing the same place I would have worn every day because it was very hot and all. But yeah, I did think when I moved here, in my mind, I felt like people were racist here. That's what I thought because like I've had this US sort of mentality in my head because there's always a lot of racism there.
Yeah.
So I thought it was same here. So in my mind, I was always like conscious of people thinking that, oh, they're looking at me weird. So it took me a while to sort of understand that, you know what, I have a right to be here too. Like, I'm not here illegally, so I need to like sit down and enjoy myself here. And yeah, so eventually it settled. So anyway, I discovered that like, even though there's some level of racism here, it really isn't as loud. It's very subtle. Like they will move a bit. They would not allow you sit beside or put their bag on the chair. Like it's not like blatant in your face. So I was like, as long as you don't bring it to me, that's fine. I will just live my life and do you.
Live my life and do you.
Do you, man. Do you.
When you moved, like, how did you plan for that financially? Because I feel like people, okay, not people, Nigerians especially, like sometimes we don't really think deep about the fact that we are moving to like a new country entirely. It's just like, you're just thinking like, oh, I'm just living like, I'm living Nigeria and that's it. Like you're not processing like that you're moving to like a new situation, a new environment. Like it's a major life decision and major like change in life event. Like how did you plan for that like financially? Because I'm guessing did you move for study or work?
Yeah, I moved for work, so my employers.
So did you still have to do any kind of plan?
So grateful to my employers. They really did pretty much everything. Flights, visas, everything. The only time I spent my money was when it was time for me to like move to my own place. But they really took care of everything. But I also prepared myself. I watched a lot of YouTube on like Nigerians that had moved here.
There were a lot of options on YouTube?
Yeah. I remember Laura had, Dillion had, and there was one other girl that moved with her husband and kids. So I can say for these three, like they have a lot of content on YouTube on like their move and like what taxes look like here, what rent looks like here, and the expenses you have. So sort of prepared my mind that, okay, well, this is not Nigeria. Like I have to be ready to spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
And the good thing was before I moved, my previous employers, I was working for a US company and I was being paid in USD. So I had pretty much a very good safety net to use when I moved in for the like 2-3 months rent that you have to pay in advance, all of that. So I would say I had one of like the easiest transitions to this country. It wasn't really so much of a hassle because I really...
Yeah, this thing. I think for me, when I moved like 4 years ago.
Yeah,
they were not really. I think it was only Laura's gift as well.
Yeah.
I think it was only her that had something, and there was this other Indonesian girl. I've forgotten her name, to be honest. That also what kind of like gave me an idea of what to expect. But in terms of like a lot of Nigerians, I didn't really have. That was I was surprised that you had.
Yeah,
you
I
had,
think most of them had moved like that 2020, 2021. So it was like pretty fresh, which is why I liked it because it was new information. It was so it was good.
And generally, since you moved, how would you say your expenses are changed from when you were living in Nigeria?
So for context, my financial situation is very different because I have a lot of black tax. So my dad is late, and it's just I'm the first born, and I have 4 younger siblings and my mom. Wow. So I would say that I won't lie. Sometimes I think living in Nigeria when I was in the USD would have been better for me than moving here because my expenses just doubled. What was happening in Nigeria remained. I'm still taking care of everything there. But then I've come here and I'm like, I was living with my mom and my siblings. It had doubled. Now I'm paying rent every month, but I'm still paying yearly rent back home.
Oh my God, yeah.
So it's like my finances is probably in a worse place because I really think that I was earning more money then than I am now. Because I wasn't paying tax. But Nigeria, I was really being an irregular citizen, but I wasn't paying tax. So whatever I was entering my account was my money.
Fully,
So my finances has really, it took a wreck. It took me a while to really get into the flow of things and get a safety net for myself because I was like, what the fuck? Like, where's all my money going to? But it's because it was like double of everything I was doing back home that I'm doing now to myself. So it's been a bit of a roller coaster, but we're getting a hang of things a little bit.
And how do you feel, because you mentioned black tax, there's a lot of controversies around it. How do you personally feel about black tax in general?
So a lot of people talk about how like you just say no, you can say no, like, but I feel like my situation is a bit different.
Yeah.
Before I used to find it hard to say no to like my extended family. But now, like because of my situation, I don't even have a choice. It's like I don't even have to give you like I did before. But I can't say no to my nuclear family. It's a policy I have. It's like this is my younger siblings. Like they were pretty young when my dad died, and I really don't want. I've gone through all this suffering, and I don't want them to go through it. So I provide like a very safe space for my younger siblings and my mom. So I feel like sometimes they take advantage of it, but I don't tell them no. If I say no, it means like I actually do not have at all, and there's no way I can get. But if I can wiggle something out, I will always like cater to like my younger siblings and my mom.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do something for you. Let's say you give me a breakdown now. You don't need to be specific with the amount. It could just be like percentages. So when you receive like your monthly salary, of course, net of tax, how do you usually allocate it? Between your bills, your black tax, and your own personal expenses, how would you say you share it? And do you still have some left for like savings, investment?
Yeah, so I have like a system. For one, my salary is always different every month because we get this thing where if you come to the office, you get like transportation, like it's when you connect to the office Wi-Fi, accounts that you came to the office and you get like an amount, compare the kilometers from your house to the office and all. So depending on how many times I go to the office, my salary is never the same every month. It always changes.
Yeah.
So in that sense, so I never even divide my salary into exact figures because it just depends. So what I do is first thing I do is to split it into 2. 50% goes into rent, expenses like gas and things. Like I just divide it. So I take out everything that I would do with my rent and my expenses because I don't even want to have a situation where I can't pay rent. So that just goes into one side. Then the rest I divide into 20, 20, 10. Now 10% is this amount that no matter what's going on, I will not touch it. It just goes into an account that I do not have a card in. I don't have anything like. Because I need to create some sort of safety net, even if it's very small, but I need something that I can fall back on.
Emergency fund.
Yeah. And then the other 20 goes into, the first 20 goes into my family. Again, my expenses every month changes with black tax.
Yeah.
If it's a month where everybody's resuming school, it's a heavy chunk. I can exhaust that 20% and then even more. But more often than not, is either that exactly that 20% or a bit less. And any spare I get, I throw it back into that 10% with the other. So like into my do not touch savings.
Yeah.
Then the last 20% I give to myself to decide how I want to use it. Now, and this depends. Some months I want to buy something special for myself, I'll buy it. Other months I don't really feel like buying anything. So I will just keep it like just in case of any emergency, or I want to splurge on eating that month. So my groceries bill is not enough in my expenses tab, so I pick from that. So it's just like a safety blanket. But more often than not, that entire money goes into like small stocks or where I buy gold because it's like a stable amount.
I do. I'm also a lover of gold.
Yeah, so I just throw it into the gold fund, like, you know what, just staying there. So I'm really trying to get into like buying stocks and ETFs and all. So it's something I recently started. So wherever there's spare money, I'll just like throw it in. So my expenses in the month is always scattered, but like the basic is at least I know I will divide it into that too,
Yeah.
and then the second will divide it into that breakdown, and then however I will figure it out per the situation of the month. Yeah.
And do you have a budget?
I have a grocery budget for one because I like to cook, I like to experiment, and if I let myself go, I will probably spend so much money on like buying different things that I only cook once and it will waste. So for one, my groceries, I'll try to like make myself, when I find myself going to the grocery store more than twice in a week, then I tell myself that, okay, yeah, something is wrong. You need to stop. Like, cook whatever is remaining in your fridge and don't buy anything new. So I don't put budget on myself in terms of money, like an amount, but I just watch myself and the way I move. If I'm coming back from the gym and I find myself branching to the grocery store, I look at myself, when last did you go here?
When last did you go here?
There's food at home. Don't buy anything new. So like I just watch myself.
Yeah.
I just watch. Because that's why I always tell people that I can't give financial advice because I feel like my situation is very different. I just try to move it the way my situation goes.
And this thing. And do you think there's a point where you're like for example, the sibling after you, like how young is she? Like what school is she? Like in
she
high
just
school?
graduated. She's currently doing her NYC.
Okay. So do you get to a point where you're like, oh, once I'm done with this, then she can help me with the others, or you're like, I'm doing everything? No,
I'm saying right now, that's what happened. I literally told her like a couple of weeks ago. She was like, I sent everyone money and I didn't send because I would just send them money every. I didn't send, and she was like, oh, like she didn't get anyone. I said, girl, you finished school, better start. when I was in university, I was already hustling. You finished, like you need to like stand up, and because I feel like I might have babied them a bit, so they're a bit relaxed. I was like, yeah, you need to. I eventually did send her money, but like I did tell her that like you need to, because I'm already in my mind thinking, okay, just 3 more left. One is gone. And like,
you've already done subtraction.
Asking me for money. So yeah, I try to always think, okay, how many more years? I always count in my head, okay, all right, 10 more years. But my last one just road jam. So I still have a long way to go.
I think that the person is not in primary school, secondary school. Like, let me console you.
I'll take it. But yeah, it's...
Let's like, in a month, because your situation is like very unique, and let's say in a month you have like all the different expenses, like no matter what expense do you have that you're like, I can't, what's it called? I can't compromise on. Like, to some people, they can look at it and be like, yeah, like, KitKat, I don't think this is necessary or something. But in your head, you're like, this is so important to me. And no matter what, I need to be able to spend on this particular expense. Do you have an expense like that?
Do I have one like that? So again, I like food a lot. I don't play about my groceries, man. Like, honestly, I don't. I really make sure that like I eat good because I feel like I'm working too hard, and like the little pleasures I can have, which is great food, I need to be able to do that. So if in a month, I like to go at least once a month to a restaurant and eat. So I try not to play around with that because it's like my me time. Like I get to indulge in something that I've been craving for a while, and it makes me happy because with black tax, you can get so overwhelmed by it and you start to resent the people you are helping, especially if you don't do things for yourself.
Exactly.
So I don't joke around with things that make me happy because I love my family. I love them. There's sometimes a lot, but I love them. I never want to make them feel like they're a lot to me.
Yeah.
So I always, anywhere I can squeeze in time or money for a trip or something, I would just do it. Because I know, you know what, problems always come up.
Of course.
I need to like be happy within myself to be able to provide for them. So it's like, I don't joke with anything.
So enjoyment, like
food, like a trip. Oh no, I wouldn't. Like, I'm sorry guys, I've paid for my flight. Even though I've not paid for it, I'm like, you guys have paid for it. So
you have to wait till next month.
Wait till next month. If you cannot wait till next month, then that's a different discussion. If it's health-wise, we can walk around that. But like, if you can wait till next month,
wait till next month.
I'm sorry, but
and you said you like spend like money on food. It's important. Like, averagely, how much would you say you spend on food in a month?
Wow. So average, I can spend like on the month I know that I've looked at my finances and I've done the worst.
Yeah.
Was I spent 500 euros on food in a month. And in that month, I was really experimenting. I would do like food that like cost a lot of things, and I would go out to restaurant multiple times that month because like I had a very stressful month. So on an average, on a good month, it would be probably like 200, 250.
Yeah.
But on a like really splurging month, it could get as high as 500. And I try not to repeat that again, but
I try not to repeat that again.
life is life. I need to.
I'm currently struggling a lot with like monthly groceries, like how much I spend on food in a month. So sometimes like I ask people this question, not like because I feel like, oh, I'm curious to know. It's more like I want to see like, am I spending too much on groceries? Because sometimes I talk to people and they're spending like way less, and I'm like, how? Like, where are you buying food? Like, show me the way. Let me follow. Let me.
And I feel like even here, the healthier options are more expensive.
Yeah.
And I'm very big on like, because I work out, I go to the gym a lot. So I'm very big on my diet. So I end up like buying things that are more expensive because in terms of like the nutrition fact on it, it's healthier. So one hack I found was to get the behind like bonus card.
Yeah.
So I have that.
I have that actually.
So I try to use that as much as possible.
Does it work?
It does. It has its good days. There was a day where I tapped it and I saw like I had about almost up to 50 euros discount. Again, I bought a lot of groceries that day, but I don't know what they were doing that period, but I was like, oh, why haven't I done this thing since? But there are days where you scan it and it's like zero. And I'm like, okay. Yeah.
And now that I've moved to like a new place, I don't really have an Albertine close by. I only have like Jumbo, so yeah, and I don't have a Jumbo card, to be honest. Maybe I should get one.
Jumbo has a card. Wow. I have
Yeah,
a Jumbo
they
name,
do.
but I really never entered Jumbo because like I like familiarity. And you know this thing, we have to scan like the language and all. So when I already know where something is, it's hard for me to go to another store and like I now have to be
Try to
scanning,
figure out
this
where it is as well.
But like if I go to my behind, I know exactly where I'm going to and I'm just like out immediately. I don't have to check the language or and also yeah.
That's nice. So you say you started like investing and stuff like that. What made you start investing?
I was just talking to a friend when I got my first bonus check, which is like a pretty good amount, and I was like, if I'm not careful, I can end up spending this amount.
Yeah.
Like doing things for my siblings and for myself, and before I realized the money would not be there anymore. So I thought, okay, you know what? This is the best time for me to like put this huge chunk of money somewhere. So I did talk to a friend of mine who is like a software engineer, and he's very big on this thing. So he took me to like, because I'm not a high risk person. I really can't put my money where it would just go. So I just told him like, tell me things I can. I know low risk would mean low returns, but at least I know my money is safe
Somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, so that was when I started like using like ETFs and I put things like Nvidia and like things that like over time like they're rising
they're
and
rising,
stable
yeah.
sort of. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that sounds like. Is there like any financial advice you've heard somewhere or somebody has told you that has stick to you that you feel like it's a great one and you know people should know this?
So this is what formed the thing where I say like I always do things that make me happy. So when I started, I've been taking care of my family even when I was in university. So like I've sort of known that there's a lot of responsibility lies on me.
Yeah.
And it got to a point where I was depriving myself of things, but then I would give the same things to my siblings and like family members. And one of my uncles sat me down and then he told me that he has been in my shoes like when he was growing up, and he would tell me that if I don't change the way I am over taking care of them and depriving myself, I will grow up to resent my siblings and my mom at some point in time. And that just sounded like the worst thing ever because they are like my everything. So,
Yeah.
And I knew it was coming because he was right. Because deep down I could feel that when they asked for money, I would give them, but in my mind I'm like, fucking hell, like why did God do this to me? Like
Yeah, like you start getting like angry.
So he told me that no matter any amount, no matter what they ask me, no matter like how important anything is, when I get my salary, at least 10% should. That's where like I mentioned, 10,
Yeah.
at least 10% should come to me. I decide what I want to do with it. If I want to save it, it's fine.
Yeah.
If I want to splurge on myself, but like I should not 100% give my entire. I'm not working for them. I'm also working for myself. So I should make sure that I cater to myself to an extent. And that thing really, it changed me because when I started doing that, I realized that the resentment that was building before just disappeared. Like, I get sad sometimes when like it feels like I'm depriving myself of certain things, but it never is that overwhelming that because I've catered to myself, I've taken that part of my money and I've dedicated to just me, regardless of what's happening. So I would say that is one of the biggest things. And then secondly is I try not to take advice from people because, again, my situation is very different. People always tell me, oh, just say no, just save your money. And I'm just looking at them like, you don't know how it feels to be in my shoes, to see. I never want my siblings to go through what I went through to get to fend for myself. So, like, I just always do what's best for me. You can give me advice. I will take it what's applicable for me.
Yeah.
But I will never fully just listen to somebody, especially when they're not in my shoes. It's like, yeah, so just like...
How was the experience having to work in uni? Because you're studying, you're working, and also you have to take care of your siblings. How was that? Like mentally? How was that for you?
It was a lot because I had to like adult. Like say, I thought I had to adult fast. Like when people were having fun and like splurging and like calling their uncles and aunties and people for pocket money. I never had that. Like there was no one I could call to like send me money. The other ones I would call, my family dynamic is very strange. So the people I would call, they would make it seem like I was nagging them. So I'm someone who like, once you just show me that like I'm disturbing you, I'll just take a step back. Like, so I just end up never really asking people for things. So I had to like fend for myself, do small things here and there. So it opened my eyes a lot, I won't lie. Like, it really made me mature fast and see that, like, life is just, you have to work, man. You have to work. So I'm not scared of, like, hard work. I just know that, like, it's something I have to do. I think it just matured me and also made me a lot more understanding to people. So I give a lot of grace to people because I just know that sometimes it's really not their fault. It's just circumstances of life and, you know.
That's just how life is. Okay, I have this question, so because I'm sure a lot of people are curious, because it's also one of the conversations I wanted to discuss for like this show and everything. As a recruiter, if someone should tell you like two questions, I'll ask you the first one, like, how can you tell someone, if somebody's like, I want to put my best foot forward for a role, what kind of advice would you tell the person?
First of all, don't lie. I really don't lie. Like, if you do not know it, it goes better for you if you affirm. So I've had conversation with hiring manager where they say, oh, this person, when we ask this certain skill and they said, oh, they don't have it, but they're very eager to learn, they're quick to take feedback. And that goes for the person rather than someone lying that they've done this. And then when they ask you concrete examples, you're just fumbling. So my first thing is one thing to lie in your CV when you're applying because you want to get past ATS or anything. But when they're interviewing you, it's always a very big note. Like, don't lie, because like it only goes to hurt you.
Yeah,
it never goes for you. So, don't lie. Two is be very receptive to feedback. Some people you share feedback with them and they come back to you and they're like, trying to fight it. I know you want to fight it, but at the same time, still understand that like every company has the kind of skills they are looking for. So if they assess and they see you're not a fit for them, it's just because it could be that company. And that company you apply to will take you. So never take it as a reflection of you. Always know that, okay, you did your best. Thank you for the feedback. And apply it to another role when it comes. Sometimes some roles are not for you. Some people I have hired into my current company will say they've applied a couple of times in the past and they never passed.
Yeah.
It just wasn't the right time. So like never take rejection as a reflection of you as a person. Always just try to learn from that and move on to the next thing, even though it might be hard. But
just move on to the next. And would you say like this advice applies both for, trying to look for a job in Nigeria and trying to look for a job like outside Nigeria as well?
Yeah, it does apply.
Because people would assume that, you're talking based on the fact that you're employing like when in Nigeria, it's like different circumstances. There are more people looking for like applying for the same role. So there are more things they look at and stuff like that. That's why they feel the need to lie or something. That's why I asked you the question.
There's one thing, there's a difference between lying and then like fluffing up what you know. Like it's one thing to fluff up. You can, if you know the basics, you can try to make it seem like you know more than the basics, but at least you know the fundamentals. But if you don't know any, like you don't know it in general. Like, so when you do the job, what's the plan? Like when you are inside the company and like they ask to do what you say you can do. What's the plan?
You watch YouTube. YouTube answer all the questions.
Okay, that's if you have. What if when you go to YouTube and you don't like understand it as much to apply it on someone's business? Like this is somebody's job. What would you do?
but on top of that, I do agree with you. The first job I got here, which is actually still my current job, when I got the job, I got it for another role entirely than I'm currently doing, and I knew some things, but it's not everything I knew. And one of the main reasons why I got the job was the fact that I remember my manager now, who was also the person that interviewed me, told me then like he's not looking for somebody who knows everything 100%.
Yeah.
Because the company itself is unique. So he's looking for somebody who is willing to learn and can work in an environment where things are changing constantly.
Yeah.
And as long as you know you're willing to learn, because you can also wake up one morning and the process is going to change.
Yeah.
You should be willing to adapt and be flexible and, have like all this kind of stuff. So that's like the situation, like, situation, God of it. I'm learning Dutch, so I'm saying situation.
Please.
That's like the situation, that's like the situation. And honestly, and I explain myself. Of course, you explain like things you've done to show that you have the capacity to like learn,
Yeah.
grow, and develop. And honestly, I got the job. I won't say like maybe that's what. Maybe I had like other skills that I got job. I would say maybe that also helped. So yeah, I do agree with you. Like sometimes you don't
Sometimes
you don't need
just
to learn.
show that you are able to pick up skills, like you are eager to learn, like you love the company, love what it stands for. Like honestly, people underestimate how far like being receptive to like learning and showing passion for where you're going to works for you. Like it's
it does help a lot. What was I going to say again? Yeah. Then the second question regarding recruiting is just like there's this conversation about compensation, like negotiating salaries when you are applying for a new job or getting a new job. Like there's this myth, you can tell me if it's true or a lie, that most of the time the first salary offered to you by a recruiter is lowballing, like they're lowballing you. Is that true?
I'm a recruiter, so I plead the fifth. But well, what I would say is negotiating doesn't hurt anyone, to be honest. A first negotiation, like if they give you an offer, you can negotiate like, but when there's something called over negotiation. It's like when they told you, okay, this is the end, this is the end, this is the end, and you keep insisting, they will probably try to move on without you. But the first negotiation, I'm always for it. Like, if you can negotiate, if they come back and tell you that they can't do it, like once or twice, then probably have to take it like that. But it doesn't hurt to negotiate.
To negotiate and this thing. And I feel like a lot of people also have like, at least for me when I first moved, I found it very difficult to negotiate because I was like, where am I going to start from? Like, how do I know what I should be negotiating for? Because I don't think like this is, people say, yeah, go to Glassdoor, but I mean, I also signed up on Glassdoor. I can tell you that I just signed up just to sign up sake. Like I didn't really put like factual information on that place. So you can say go to Glassdoor, but I don't think it's the same. So if you want to give someone like an advice on a good way to negotiate like your salary or something like that, like what would you recommend?
So this is where I feel like we need to, as a community, start being open about compensation. Because if people are always hiding what they earn, you never know whether you are being lowballed or not.
Exactly.
You just assume that, okay, this is the fair salary, and it might not be fair. So my standard personally for negotiating is when you give me an offer, I try to negotiate for minimum a 10% increase. I try. Like, they can come back and say, we can't give you 10% increase, we can't give you 5%. And that, at least I've tried and I've gotten 5% more. So I would say, as a standard policy, if they come to you with an offer, try to ask for a 10% increase on that offer and see if you can get it. Like, that's the minimum you can ask. Sometimes if you think you're very confident in your skills and like the way you perform, you can ask for more, but I just say like minimum. And I also think we need to start like negotiating. Men are very confident. Like, oh my God, they will ask for like double of the amount. And I'm like, but women are always like, when I hire women, they're always quick to take the first offer. It's like, so it's a thing to like, women need to start like being open to, negotiating, whether it's 10%, even if you can 50%, like just be more audacious. Like,
try to like have some audacity. I do agree. I have just one last question for you. How do you Okay, let me first ask you this thing. Are you for or against like doing anything that is luxury? It could be like travel, it could be like purchases, it could be like anything.
I'm 100% for it. Every year on my birthday, I buy something expensive for myself.
Yeah.
Especially if you work. Like, you work so hard. You've done so a lot of things. Like, come on, you deserve it. Like, so every year, even if I do it just once a year, my birthday, I do something very luxurious for myself. Like, it depends. It could be like I would go on a solo trip for myself and do all-inclusive resorts. I could buy like a new phone or a designer bag, something just really nice for myself because I've worked a full year round. I deserve it. And so I'm all for if you work and you can afford it, definitely do it. Because my policy is, maybe because I've dealt with debt early on in my life, but like you save and save and save and save, and then God forbid something happens and then you die. So like you look back in your life and think, oh God, I should have just bought that thing when I had the chance to buy it.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep regretting. And so yeah, if you can't afford it, please definitely
You should
indulge.
buy it. What would you say is like the best luxurious thing or gift or experience you've given yourself?
I've given myself a lot over the years, but I would say my most recent purchase, it might not sound luxurious to some people,
Yeah.
but it was to me because like it made no sense for me to spend almost 600 euros on headphones. I bought the AirPods Max. I have a headphones, but I just bought it because I bought it like when they paid me my bonus this year.
Yeah.
I was going to put all in my savings, and then my friends were like, "Guy, like you've tried the entire of last year. You were working, and like you're always complaining about work and the stress. Like instead of saving all your money, just take a little amount and just buy something for yourself." So I kept thinking, what will I buy? What will I buy? I kept thinking too much, but I always wanted the AirPods Max. But I always said it makes no sense for me to spend up to 600 euros on headphones by myself. Come on. But then I was just on the train one day. I just opened my phone, opened Apple, put it in my card, paid it. I just did it so fast. I was like, I can't go back. I can't go back.
think about it. I've done it now. It's gone. It's on.
And when it came back, I was trying to not say that I'll go and return it. I just, I tore everything so fast, so I can use it and say, okay. So, yeah, that was like my most recent, in quotes, luxury purchase that, yeah, it was.
That was very nice. Yeah. Okay. And that was the last question for me.
Yeah.
However, there's one more question for you, but not from me, from a previous guest. You also get to ask the future guest a question. So let's see what the person asked you. Oh.
Now you're laughing. I'm like, okay, what am I signing up for?
Okay. The person wrote, will you dash me money if I ask you for it?
Do I know you?
I'm not sure if you know the person or not.
If I'm feeling generous and it depends on the amount, you never know. If you catch me on a good day where like, everything in life is going smoothly, I'm having time of my life.
Yeah.
I could definitely dash, but again, depends on the amount.
It depends on the amount.
And if you
like, what's the
nicely,
max amount you can ever dash somebody?
Right now, economy is hard. Rent is renting.
Rent is renting.
Rent is renting. Water bill is water billing. So I can give you like 50 euros to hold body.
50 years to hold body.
To hold body, like, just to calm down.
To be fair, I understand. And we've come to almost towards the last part of the show. So I try to play a game called This or That. So I give you 2 different options and then you pick one out of them.
Okay.
Tell me what you would do. So the first one is 1, upgrade your tech yearly or use gadgets until they give out.
Use gadgets until they give out. Yeah, that's not even there. I'm not one of those people. Yeah, I am very before. For example, before I started using the phone I'm using now. I was using an iPhone 8.
Yeah.
And I kept that phone till I bought an iPhone 12. You see this space. I'm very big on like if it's working, don't need to change.
No need to change it. Okay, the second one, collect experiences or collect valuable items.
I'll say valuable items. I like to look at nice things. I don't like to think of nice things. I'd rather see.
So you like, I see you.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
I
always look at it. Yeah, like I always look at my AirPods Max. Like, yeah, I bought you. I'm happy. So yeah.
Okay, the third one, shop with detailed lists or decide based on in-store offers.
Detailed list. I always have like if I'm going for groceries, I always
have
like,
a list of all the things you need to buy.
Yeah. I don't.
The fourth one, splurge on a dream vacation or create a luxury home environment.
This is dicey. if it's my house that I have bought,
Yeah.
I would pick a
Luxury
luxury home
home
environment. But if it's a house I'm renting, it's not my own.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I will not make someone's house luxury. I would rather go somewhere in this.
So you rather go on vacation?
Yeah, I'm sorry, but it's not my house. So
Yeah, I would have picked the same answer, to be honest. Seek financial compatibility in relationships or welcome diverse money mindsets.
this is. I think I would like financial compatibility.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't want to explore.
No, I don't. Again, like I'm not a risk taker, and I just like my comfort zone. Like I just want someone. Well, if you think about it, I actually like someone who takes risks. So like, the person can take the risk on behalf of us, but then when the risk now happens,
Yeah.
that's when there's problem. So it's a bit dicey for me.
So it's a bit nice. So you're not
I'm
sure.
not sure. Yes, let love lead.
Let love. Let's lovely.
Let's use love.
I will go with your first answer, which is you don't like this thing. And we've come to the end of the show. So if you do the honors and sign this book, and you can ask the next person a question if you like. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry to the next person. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Catherine or Kit Kat. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe to the podcast, the YouTube, and watch out for more episodes. Bye.